Hey, what's going on, guys? Battle Nation Emperor here, back today with another video. And today, guys, we're bringing back the tier list for another episode. In our last tier list, our very first tier list, was for January of 2025. This will be for February of 2025. And I absolutely loved that video. I loved making that video. So we're bringing it back. I have all of the troops from that last video in this video, along with the 10 naval units currently available in the beta. So the last video, the last tier list, had no naval units. This is going to have all 10 of them. So really looking forward to this, and without any further ado, I mean, that was pretty much it. Let's jump straight into this, starting off with the light tank. Now, not a bad guy, and in the last video, I ranked him S tier, and guess what? He still earns his S tier. Now, could he be better? Of course, there's definitely room for improvement, but honestly, I'm still feeling pretty comfortable putting the light tank at an S tier. Now, moving straight on to the mini tank, who last video got an A tier, and I'm going to do the exact same. Now, I do want to make sure very clear there are going to be some serious adjustments, not just 1 or 2 tiers. Some people are going to bump up several tiers. But, I mean, just starting off with these two classic tanks, I'm pretty comfortable with where I put them, and I genuinely do feel justified having them here. So, even though it is kind of, weird to start off the two the exact same, going to keep them there. Now, continuing on with that, Battle Raptors, exact same. They were S tier last time. They're being S tier this time. I just can't get over the factor that they will slaughter any meat shield in front of you. You got a meat problem, throw it out there. They can do anything from 60 damage to, heck, 200 damage if they, roll high. So, absolutely love these guys. S tier. Okay, this is the first major change of the last video. Next up is Field Agent, and last time I placed this guy at a B. And I was promptly criticized pretty hard for it. I think it was really the only criticism that I received, pretty universal on Discord, on YouTube. I got a few messages about it, all of them more or less respectful. But yeah, definitely fumbled the bag on this one. He's not going in B tier. He's earning his rightful place, not even at A tier, let's be honest. He's S tier. The only reason I placed Bro so low last time is I was for some reason thinking of Special Ops from OG Battle Nations. And Special Ops was like literally just the GOAT. He was so cool, he looked amazing, and he was literally just a Field Agent, limited edition though, and he was so freaking strong. He made Field Agent look bad. But objectively going back and looking at the stats and looking at what's currently available in the beta, Field Agent is awesome. He literally is just that good. So he's amazing, absolutely love the dude, and he honestly earns S tier now. I'm sorry for flunking you in B tier last time, dude. 100% my fault. Making up for it now. So continuing on, we have the Tank Killer, and kind of a bit of a controversial move maybe, but I'm going to go ahead and still keep him at S tier. I know some people said I should bump him down to A tier. I feel he's good, and once Mega Tanks roll into the game, he's going to be even better because if my memory serves me right, I remember him being pretty good at tanking out Mega Tanks too. Pretty much anything of big armor, he's your guy to go to. So moving straight along, we have the Gunner, who last video got an A tier, and I justified that through real good use in the early game, but he's not going to be A tier this video. He certainly isn't S. He's going to be dumped down to B tier, and this is nothing against Gunner, but I'll be honest, I could make the argument to dump him down to C tier. The reason I put him at A tier last video was simply because I felt early game he is so good, he is so cool, but he grades out of the game so easily. I mean, he becomes useless very early on, and once you get Soldier, I mean, he's completely useless. I mean, it's just not even really a question. I feel he's good at taking out, baby animals, baby boars, baby raptors. He's good at taking on early raiders. But once you start getting into more serious enemies, and heaven forbid something that can actually hit back, like even just a mammoth, and this guy's, kind of in trouble. He can get one-tapped by a mammoth in some cases. So I'm going to put him at B, and I'm sorry for the Gunner lovers out there. I love him too, but he really does suffer. Not even, I was going to say later in the game. He kind of just tempers off after early game, genuinely. So going to put him at B tier. Probably literally our first downgrade of the video. Not our first change, but our first downgrade. And moving straight on, we have the Heavy Recon. He was A last time, and he's going to keep his A rating. He doesn't quite break into S tier, but he is really good. Obviously, as a nanopod unit, you expect them to be good, but for 26 nanopods, yeah, you're getting a recon vehicle with armor, which my only complaint about recon vehicle is that it doesn't have armor. So absolutely, A tier, still deserved. And moving right along, we have the Ranger. Ranger last video got a C, and I think I might have been a little bit too harsh. I think it can maybe make the justification of moving up to B. I had a lot of people upset about that, saying we should have, possibly had him a little bit higher. And I'll admit, B for Ranger could be better, could be worse. I see a lot of potential there, so I am going to move him up though from C to B. Moving on to Gun Truck, and last video he was ranked a B. I'm gonna change that. He's not quite S tier, but he certainly is A tier. Last video I just put him B tier, mainly comparing him recently to Killer Tank and a few other bad boys. But honestly, just as a standalone guy, he's pretty freaking goated. And if I can get him to stay up here, there we go. Yeah, he earns that A tier. And only reason I put him at B tier last time is because I was kind of just thinking compared to the super good tanks. And he isn't, of course, a tank killer or a mega tank, but he Gun Truck, he's alright. He's not bad. He'll do you well. And moving right along, we have the mortar vehicle. We have mortar tank. We come straight in here, and I called it mortar tank. I'm sorry, I meant mortar truck. And this bad boy, last video, I put him at B as well, and I'm gonna keep him at B. I could maybe make an argument that he could move up to A, and certainly in the future I could see that happening, but still just gonna have to keep him at B for now. Moving right along, we have the recon vehicle, who last episode was a B, and this episode, I'm gonna make a little bit of a controversial decision. First C tier of the video. Nothing wrong with him, but objectively rating, I feel he should have some armor. And I know I said that about the heavy recon, and you might say, well, wait a second. He costs, just gold. He's a non-nanopod unit. Heavy is a nanopod unit. Can't you kind of justify it on that? And yeah, kind of, but he's just so weak. Like, he's a vehicle, and heaven forbid you lose a vehicle early on. That's going to be like half your economy basically down the drain just trying to repair that bad boy, especially with the low level vehicle repair factory, especially if you don't have upgrades to reduce the cost, rip your gold reserves basically. But he needs to have some protection, and at 100 HP with no armor, it's just, I feel even when you get him, it's cool to have that minigun, but then you're just kind of meh. His one redeeming factor I really do like, you get a free one in the mission for the campaign of going to the Boar Badlands. You recover the one there and you get him for free. That is really cool. I do like that, and I wish there were more instances of that, like getting a free troop or unit in the campaign. Absolutely love that. Moving right along to Shock Trooper, who last video kind of lucked out and got A. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to bump you down to B. Let me be absolutely clear here. Early game, bro is unbelievably goated. He is great, he is good, but he does kind of taper out quickly, and I would say he's, maybe besides Mortar Team, is one of the best later game on units, but he does temper out, and he's a cornerstone of your early army, but as you get later into the game, you just find less and less uses for him. And speaking of Mortar Team, sorry about that, accidentally clicked my photos. Thankfully it's only showing my memes, I think, so I really got lucky there. And as I was trying to say, next we have Mortar Team, who we're going to keep at a, I hate to say it, we're going to have to keep in an A position. You get a free one, so everybody has one, and what I really like about the Mortar Team is the simple factor that it's so good. Even mid-game, you can place that bad boy in the back and he just gets pop shots off, with good, decent explosive damage. So, you know what? I'm going to make my first adjustment mid-video. I'm going to have to do, because looking at the other A-tier units, the mini tank, the heavy recon vehicle, the gun truck, I don't think Mortar Team can stand up to those guys. I love you, bro, and I just almost put you at A, but I gotta put you at B. I'm so sorry, Mortar Team. Moving right along, we have Riot Troopers. And I'm going to put it B. They were B last video. They're going to maintain their B. They almost got C just now because, man, their shotgun is so useless. They do very little damage. But they are your first armor. And, man, armor in Battle Nations is just so unbelievably good. And even with them being really just terrible at everything and only really just, their only use being your first armor, it's still your first taste of armor in Battle Nations. You're going to love it, and, it's going to be amazing. So, yeah, they still reserve that B tier. Although, there's certainly the case to be made. Do they at least have, like, 80 HP? I just double-checked. It's 60. Okay, we're going to make another mid-video adjustment. I can't put you along the likes of Gunner and Shock Trooper, people who are really good in their respective fields. Can I really put the first armor at C? Yes, I can, and I'm going to do it. Again, so sorry, Riot Trooper, but 60 HP, man, that's kind of ridiculous. Come on, man. Moving right along, we have the Saboteur. Last video was an S, and this video keeps his S. The only thing that makes him look bad is some of the limited edition units that would come out in Battle Nations OG, but we obviously don't have those right now, so his only Predator, aka a better version of himself, isn't even available yet. So yeah, I'm gonna say easy S tier. Moving right along, we have the Trooper, who is going to be our first D tier unit. Nothing bad with you, dude. We all love you. But it's kind of self-explanatory. It's the first unit you get, nothing special about it. It just tells you how the turn-based system works. And yeah, D tier. Not really much I can say. Going right along, we have the Gunner. I'm sorry, not the Gunner. The Grenadier. And the Grenadier, I'm sorry, but he's going to take a fall. Last video, he managed to get B tier. This episode, he's going to get C tier. Strictly because I feel he needs an attack buff. He's very weak and can die in 1 or 2 shots from really not the strongest opponents, and that's fine because I feel you need to protect him. I just wish that grenade did a little bit more damage. I like the fact that it's the first, drag. It's the first thing you can, shoot over things. I understand that. But, man, give him a little bit more damage, I feel. The Grenadier could use a small buff to get back into B tier, in my opinion. Moving right along, we have the Arsonist, who last video I gave C tier. I'm just going to go ahead and drop him down straight to D tier. I'm sorry, man, but Fire currently isn't in the game right now, and that's like his one saving grace with his Molotov cocktail, and he doesn't even have that right now, so I'm going to have to put him in D tier. Maybe once Fire's added back into the game we can talk, but right now it's pathetic to try to use him. And it sucks because he looks so cool. He genuinely does look pretty epic. So if he could get a major buff to make him viable, even just early game, that would be awesome. Moving right along, we go to Commando, who's going to keep his B position. Was B last time, B this time. Very middle of the road. Nothing to write home about, but nothing you're going to scoff at either. And next we have Imperial Dragoon. As much as I really want to put him high up, I gotta be realistic. He's C tier. There is so much to be desired with Imperial Dragoon, especially just how he looks. He looks like he is a cool unit. He looks like he is cool because he is. And I really, really wish they had made him more powerful. He only has 100 HP. I think he should have a lot more HP, he should be a lot more tank, and he should do so much more damage. He's a nanopod unit, he looks cool, but man, he needs a massive, massive buff, because he is such an underrated character in my opinion. Just look at him, he's so cool. Hate to put you at C tier, dude, but I gotta rank you off usability, and just right now you're not that usable. Gonna put you at C tier. And speaking of C tier, that's exactly where Hunter's gonna go. Although somebody did make a good point last video. Hunter, where did Hunter go? Up right here. They did make a good point. Hunter does have a crit strike ability against animals right now, and I'm gonna say this: if you're using him properly for that, you can go B tier. But we're just grading off overall viability, and I don't feel you're gonna be running into a lot of enemies with animals. And if they do, they're probably gonna be stuff like Battle Raptor, stuff that you really can't play around with. So, gonna have to keep them at C. Sorry, dude, you do have a great design. And mini tank right here, I'm sorry, not even mini tank, medium tank right here is unfortunately going to keep its C position, only because it is so unbelievably outshined by the light tank. The light tank is basically the medium tank, but better. Genuinely, it's just so much more inexpensive, it's much more cost effective, and I genuinely just find it to be the superior tank, at least for right now. So with that being said, I'm unfortunately going to have to place it at C tier. Moving right along, we have the Armadillo Trooper, and unfortunately, as cool as he does look, gonna have to place him at C tier. A lot to be desired with this guy. Pretty much all I can really say. I feel he should have more HP and more protection, and I wish his shot would do a little bit more damage. Moving right along, we have the Heavy Gunner, and I understand they couldn't have made him Ramsey, but I'm still gonna have to keep him at D tier because he sucks. He's just terrible. And again, I'm not asking for our own Ramsey, but it would be cool if his spray shot, which is his whole, kind of gimmick, would do some damage. And, he had some viability. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to keep him at D tier for now. Moving right along, we have, let's see, making sure, for a second it was loading up the naval units for me. I wanted to make sure. So I think we had plenty of more stuff to go in before that. All right. So next we have the light artillery, and I feel there's an argument to be made for it to be moved, but I'm going to have to keep the light artillery where it was last video. I'm trying to, I just can't. I can't make the adjustment. So I'm gonna have to keep it where it was, and that's B tier. I really kind of want to put it at A tier, but I just feel once SP is added back to the game, aka unit XP, and you can level up units and it gets access to more attacks, I think I'm gonna be able to put it at A. But for now, gonna have to keep it at B. Sorry about that, bro. You really do have potential though. And moving right along, we have the, let's see, which truck is that? That's not Hailstorm, that's Rocket Truck. Oh, pulled up my memes again. Here we go. Yeah, this bad boy, we have a Rocket Truck, and I'm gonna go ahead and see. Oh, where did he go? If I can find him. Yep. I'm gonna go ahead and put him in A tier. Not quite yet ready to go to S tier. Maybe he might never get there, because I feel once more units come out, he's definitely going to be outshined. But A tier for now. Don't feel comfortable putting it at B tier because he's definitely better, but also don't feel comfortable putting it at S tier because he's not quite there. Going right into Hailstorm, basically the exact same thing, but just not good enough to shine bright into S tier. You're not, absolutely goated, but you are really good. So you're definitely going to maintain your 8 positioning. Moving right along, and we don't have many left. We're in the last few. We have the RPG Trooper. And last video, this guy did pretty well for himself. And, I'm just going to go ahead and keep his positioning and be there. I think you can argue maybe he's a little bit less. But I like him. I'm going to go ahead and keep him B tier. Exact same thing with Bazooka Squad. Although I'd actually argue maybe they have a little bit more upside, especially once they gain access to more units. Not more units. Once they gain access to more troops, I feel Bazooka Squad will have a massive chance of honestly coming quite potential. And continuing on, we have Flame Trooper, and I'm so sorry to do this, dude. D tier. Genuinely, you have massive potential once damage over time flame is added, and I think once that happens, you're immediately B tier minimum, right? Maybe not B tier minimum, but you definitely are going in D tier, right? But since flame damage over time burning isn't added into the game right now, you're definitely gonna have to go D tier, unfortunately. Moving right along, we have the Wimp, and the Wimp, I'm so sorry to do this, dude, but I'm actually going to have to knock you down to C tier, because last time I did you B, and Even though, yes, I understand, of course, his ability isn't in the game yet. If it was, he'd be S tier already. But the reason I put him B last time, and I'm still going to give him C this time, is I feel he is an amazing meat shield. He cost, if you have a leveled up hospital, under 100 gold. And he can take a hit. Not a strong hit, but he can definitely take a hit. And for only gold to heal, I find that to be pretty useful. So I'm putting him on C tier, not because I think he does damage or anything, heavens no, but I think he is a good meat shield, and that's all I want right now, when I'm using him at the very least. Moving right along, we have the Mammoth, who is also going to be C tier. Same position it was last time. I feel it's kind of the exact same position it is. I just wish our Mammoths were as strong as the ones we go up against in the wild, because I swear those guys would be like A, maybe even S tier if we got the ones we get in the wild. Moving right along to the Scout Bike, the worst vehicle in the game. I'm sorry, but D tier, dude. Speaking of terrible things you build at the vehicle factory, the AA turret, and that's only because boss strikes haven't been implemented in the game yet. We don't have any aerial units. Once those are added, he's obviously going to go up. Moving right along, we have Sandbags, who I could honestly place D. I'm not going to start that war. I'm fine with placing them at C. I wish, I'm not even going to say they should have armor. I'll admit, that would be a little bit too overpowered. But why are they so much gold? They cost over 1,000 gold for a well-leveled up vehicle factory to repair. And my question is, why? For early on players, you win a victory, that's like 1,000 gold you're getting, from wild encounter, from whatever, you just won, right? That's a whole victory's worth of gold sunk into something that literally is supposed to get shot at. How is it that expensive? If it's gold reduced, I genuinely could see it being pushed B, maybe even A tier, because it would serve its purpose so well. But it is so expensive, I can't justify it. Moving right along to Sniper, A tier. Absolutely love the guy. He earns A tier, easy peasy. If I can get him up there. I don't think you're supposed to have this many entities in a tier list, but I don't care. Alright, get into the last few. Marksman, just a better sniper. S tier. Love this guy. Fire Dragon. So much potential. Once fire is added to the game, talk to me. I think your positioning changes. But I just can't put you anywhere else besides B tier. I mean, again, if fire was in the game, I think there's a huge discussion to be had. But just right now, yeah, I can't, I'm sorry. I mean, if anything, I kind of want to put it lower. Because again, once fire's added, absolutely. But again, it's another main unit that's driven by fire, with fire not being in the game. But I'll be nice to it. I'll leave it in B tier. Yeah, I won't drop it to C tier. I'm sorry, I have to. I mean, fire is not in the game, and one of its main components is damage over time fire. That does not exist right now, so sorry, I gotta put you in there, bro. Just nothing personal. Moving right along, we have the Dune Runner, and bro, I put you at B last time. I'm gonna keep you at B. There's an argument to be made for C, but I really like this guy. I think he's cool. I'll keep him at B. If he would go up there. It's really starting to lag on me now. Alright. Moving along, we have all the TF2 units. Scout, last time I gave you an A. I'm gonna keep you in an A, buddy. You're expensive as heck. I wish I got more use out of you. But yeah, we'll keep you there. Next, we have Demo. And for being a TF2 unit, still good. But if you wanted to place him in your own B tier, I would say that's fair. Right next, we have Heavy. And I got flack for this last time for putting him at Ace tier. I'm still going to keep him at S tier. I think the biggest thing that upset people was he was an S tier and Field Agent wasn't an S tier. I'll admit that was an absolute tragedy. That should have never happened. But I still feel comfortable putting Heavy at S tier. Another unit I'm comfortable? Soldier. Oh my goodness, when you unlock this guy, he is so goated, and he stays goated for a long time. He is absolutely amazing. I love Soldier. I'll stick by him. He's still my S tier. And then last TF2 unit, and last unit before the naval units, we have Pyro. And now let's jump straight into these naval bad boys. So starting off with one of our easier ones, and I'm going to try to be nice to all the naval units. I love all of them. If I was just going off design, all of them would be minimum A tier, most S tier. But I'm still going to be super generous to all of them. Starting off with the gunboat, one of the weaker of the naval units. I'm going to go ahead and still be nice. Put it at B tier. Nothing wrong with it. Absolutely adore the bad boy. But compared to some of the other naval units, it does leave a lot to be desired. Moving right along, we have the Destroyer. I'm going to put this bad boy at an A tier because he is unbelievably good. One of your first real hitters of a naval unit, something you can actually take pride in, and I absolutely love the bro. I think there's an argument you can maybe make that he goes into S tier, but I'm saving that for, I guess, say some of the higher ups. And yeah, I'm going to keep him at A tier. Another one I really want to put at S tier, but I'm going to play it safe and keep it A tier. Submarine. Submarine, even though it costs nanos, boy is it good. It is extremely, extremely useful. I absolutely love it. Probably only, of course, outclassed by its older brother, the tactical submarine, but still a very good naval unit, even with its nanopod cost. Continuing on, we have the Boya, basically the sand piles of the sea, if you will. I'm going to go ahead and put him at B. Of course, you know, nothing special, but still. And also, I have no clue, but its image was like a pixel on Valnation's wiki, so that's the reason the image is so messed up there. I apologize for that. And moving right along, we have the Battleship Raptor class, and this bad boy is easily going to go in A tier. Your first really good battleship. And boy, is it freaking fracking good. He is awesome. I love him, and he easily earns an A tier. Now let's go into an easy S tier. Easy S tier, we have the Battle Mammoth class. I think everybody saw this coming. I don't even really need to explain myself. It's the Battle Mammoth class. It is the best naval unit in the game right now. Hands down, no questions asked. I think it's really telling that in my previous episodes I've considered getting a heavy recon or just saving up for a storage vault. Yet, I'd say 90% of the nanopod recommendation comments are just, hey, no, don't buy a heavy recon vehicle or anything. Just save up for the Mammoth class. And I mean, seriously though, for 55 nanopods, this is the best naval unit in the game right now, hands down. It is unbelievably good and easily earns that S tier. Moving right on, we got the Pelican, and maybe you should put it at B tier. I'm just again going to be nice and put it at A tier. Really like it. I love the design of it. It's super cool. And yeah, no problem putting it A tier. Now, I am going to have to put the jet ski at B tier. Nothing bad with it, but just like the gunboat, one of the weaker of the guys, and leaves a lot to be desired. Exact same thing with the powerboat. Again, not saying these guys are bad, but just compared to some of the ships, do leave a lot to desire. And finally, we have the tactical submarine. I'm going to go ahead and throw this bad boy up at S tier. He's not as good as the Mammoth class. Absolutely not. But really good unit, and my goodness, it does put the submarine to shame. And that's fine, because obviously, it's version but nanopod, so no duh. But yeah, absolutely adore it as well. Still, though, slight preference to the Mammoth class, but certainly could be biased just from my personal play and obsession with it. And that will do it for us today, guys. I really like this list. I think we made some great adjustments, especially stuff like moving the field agent from B to A tier, moving from B to S tier. He definitely deserves S. And also just moving around some of the other units, getting the naval units added, and fixing up a few other small details, a few adjustments here and there. And man, I really like these tier lists. If you guys are cool with doing a monthly one, just, you know, for every update, and we more or less do it community driven, because I made the most of my changes off recommendations and feedback from the last video and messages I got. So by all means, please comment down below what you think of this list. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? What would your list be like? And just tell me anything else Battle Nations related down below. Comment anything, video suggestion, your thoughts on this video, or your thoughts on Battle Nations in general. And with all that being said, that will do it for us today, guys. If you made it this far, I greatly appreciate you. Thank you very much for watching. Please consider dropping a like down below and subscribing to the channel if you are new. And that will do it for us today, guys. Thank you very much for watching and supporting this channel. I greatly appreciate you. And as always, have a great rest of your day.